Yo, it's your boy Marty, and welcome back to the video, guys. I came up with a great idea for our second video on the channel, and that is to talk about 5 things I wish I knew before I started my computer science degree back in 2016. So this came up pretty much on a lot of different platforms, TikTok, Twitter, just kind of people ask this general question. And today we're gonna answer it. So I graduated college in 2020, like I said before in the first video, and I also started in 2016. So I did a 4-year comp sci degree with a minor in mathematics and pretty much a focus in software engineering. So just to give a little more background on myself, I have been working for 4 years professionally as a software engineer. I was a scientific programmer and pretty much a front end. I've pretty much been full stack dev. Those are my 3 main hats I've worn my whole career. So I've done it all. I've done back end, front end, I've done HTML, CSS, React, Angular, I've done Go, C++, C Sharp, SQL. I've done a lot of different, I've literally touched everything. I would say I'm a jack of all trades, master in about 1 or 2, maybe. And so let's go ahead and move on to the meat and potatoes, because that's what you guys are here for. The first thing on our list, which is probably the funniest thing, is programming skills. Oh my God. I kind of wish I had knew more about programming before I started my degree, because I mean, I was a graphic design guy before I went to computer science, did a lot of illustrations and stuff like that, which did not age well. I look back on my IG and man, I'm glad I switched because I had no talent. This is to be quite honest with you. But I would highly recommend anybody going into a comp sci degree, get a little taste of programming before you fully commit. A lot of you guys are gonna realize within your second year, because really your first year is kind of introductory, you know, just getting your general education classes done. And then you get to that second year, and that's when you get your first, well, most of the time it's your second semester, but really your second year is when you get your harder programming classes. And a lot of you are gonna realize is not for you. Now, I do have some shorts and stuff going over things that would make you not, that should make you not consider a computer science degree. And I can also do a full video on that. Just let me know in the comments. Now, I kind of did do this when I was going into my comp sci degree. Like when I decided I'm gonna switch from graphic design to computer science. And I also tell that story on the channel one day. I really realized, I was like, I know nothing about programming. Like I've always been a gamer. I knew people did like modding and stuff like that, and that's what I thought programming was for a long time. Realized I'm like, oh, these are like actual languages you have to learn and stuff like that. And I realized I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I can do it, I think. So I guess in the end I was right, because I do it now. So I'm very glad I actually dipped my toe in before I fully committed. There's a lot that comes with programming, like problem solving, memorization, being able to Google correctly. A lot of people don't know how to Google right. And it's a bunch of different things that make being a programmer or a software engineer or any other focus in comp sci a thing. So to sum all this up into one, I guess, general statement, dip your toe in the programming a little bit, take a little tutorial or maybe even a little small like online course before you fully commit into the, you know, comp sci degree. All right, so the second on our list is industry knowledge. So this is something that I think every comp sci major should know at least 2 years kind of in. For example, right now, the current industry push is toward AI. Chat GPT, these crazy robots that can actually code and all these things. But the thing is, people have to make this stuff. And that's probably gonna be a lot of y'all, maybe me one day, depending if I get an AI, but definitely y'all. Also, data science is really, data science is smooth. That's some, you see that? That's money. That's money right there. There's money in data science. There's money in AI. I would highly recommend people kind of know that those are going to be the hot jobs in the next few years. But having general industry knowledge is just really kind of looking at the scope of things. So following certain content creators like me, I'll tell you about the current industry. Just come back to me. I got you. But seriously though, follow people like who really know what they're talking about on like Twitter, on YouTube, TikTok even. It's kind of keeping a general focus on what's going on in the industry because you want to be prepared. Like, for example, let's say in like 3 years, the industry switches towards everybody's doing front end now. You need to know there's going to be a lot of front end jobs on the market that you probably need to apply to. because those are gonna be the ones high paying. Now, this is an example, it's not facts, just don't take that with a grain of salt. But it's just an example of what could possibly happen, maybe, in the bizarre world. So anybody going into computer science, take a look at the industry, man. Do a little research. See what's going to be the next trend, or if there is a next trend, or what's the trend now. Number 3 on our list is portfolios and the importance of portfolios. Man, woo! There's a lot of people struggling with that right now. Now, God, listen to me. Actually, come closer. Come closer. The camera didn't move. Come closer. Come closer. Come closer. Make sure by the time you graduate, Jesus Christ. By the time you graduate, make sure you actually have a decent portfolio. Now, Marty, what do you mean by that? That means you need to have side projects. You should have side projects. Some people are really busy. I understand why you can't get to a side project. I get it. Try to have side projects. Try to have some type of experience on your resume by the time you graduate, because you're going to need it. Guys, the time where you could get a 150K tech job with little to no experience, it's kind of over. I'm not gonna lie, at this point, there's been a lot of layoffs. The industry is looking real rough right now. Now, will it look the same in a few years? We don't know. But hypothetically, we could also assume that things are going to be, on the worst end. I'm not gonna say terrible, on the worst end. So that's why I highly recommend, while you're going through your comp sci degree, or before you go into your comp sci degree, get a general plan of what you want to do. So for me, my plan when I was in college was to get internships every summer, and I accomplished that. So I worked at one biotech institute for 2 summers. I did a NASA internship as a software developer, which was actually really fun. I'll tell that story if you guys want on the channel. Let me know in the comments. And my 4th internship was an AI internship. I learned nothing, but it was fun. Okay. So I learned like the bare minimum of what there is to know about AI, but I did learn a lot about data science. That was the big takeaway from that. But the point is to have a general plan of gaining experience. I actually didn't have a lot of side projects outside of class by the time I graduated, but you can also list the projects you do in class that are really good to put on your resume. So definitely think about that as you're going through your undergrad. Like, oh wow, this actually was a interesting project people may want to hear about that pertains to the position you're applying for. List it. But yeah, in totality, resumes are very important. Portfolios are very important. If you can't get an internship, make sure you got your side projects listed and make sure they actually pertain to what you're applying for. Because if you're applying for a database position, not gonna care about the fact you know HTML. They want to know if you know SQL and if you actually manage the database tables, all that stuff. So keep that in mind. Moving on, number 4. Number 4 on our list is the fact that everything you're probably going to learn in school, or most of the things you're going to learn in school, will not be current industry. You're not going to be using React in school. I'm sorry. Most schools probably won't teach you React. Some might, depending on how updated their curriculum is. But curriculums, it takes a lot of time and a lot of planning to change a curriculum. So a lot of schools are going to be a few years behind. So definitely be prepared for that. And that's kind of why I say do your own research. Figure out what's going on. That's where that industry knowledge comes in at. If you know you need to learn React to get where you want to go, learn React. Go ahead and do it outside of school, because you're going to need it for what you want to do. If you're learning AI, make sure you kind of know, okay, the general basis of how AIs work and what's the big AI technology at the time. If you're a game designer, make sure you know what Unity is doing. Make sure you know what Unreal Engine is doing, because these things are important. Your school's not going to teach you everything, and you need to prepare for when you graduate. That was honestly one of my biggest things in college, and it made a lot of my courses feel useless. And I'm not gonna lie. But the thing was, I thought they were useless, but they actually weren't. Principles of computer science are important. So make sure you're listening in school. Make sure you know when you get to data structure and algorithms, you put that class on a pedestal, because you're gonna need it for interviews. Nobody told me that. You're gonna need data structure and algorithms for interviews, and I didn't understand that class. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a lot of data structures and algorithms I still don't understand. I just study them when it's time to interview, and then they go out of my brain after that. That's just me. I'm being honest. Most people wouldn't admit that. I'm just being honest. But point is, lock in. Make sure you learn everything there is to learn while you're in your undergrad, because a lot of it you're gonna need. A comp sci degree is general as possible to prepare you for any type of route you take in tech, like I said before. And also, just to give a little bit more on that, when I started working my internships is when I kind of realized that. A lot of people won't realize that, and they'll be kind of just taking everything at face value. No, like I said before, do your own research. Number 5 on our list is probably one of the most important ones on this list, and that is software engineering is not the end all be all of a computer science degree. So what does that mean? Computer science includes stuff like health informatics, game design, front-end engineering, back-end engineering, cybersecurity, data science, AI, network administrators, system designers. I'm missing some. There's a lot more. There's a lot more. Do your research. A lot of what I've been saying in this video is centered around what? Research. Make sure you research. There's a lot of different avenues in computer science that people really don't talk about, and they pay really good. Cybersecurity, some money. That's some money on. That's some money on in there, right? So make sure you're actively doing research on what you really want to do. If you want to be a game designer, try to make a game a little bit. Do some messing around so you can actually figure out if that's what you want to do. A lot of people, they go for one thing and realize they like another. You might go to be a back-end engineer and you realize, man, I really like HTML. Or even like something like application development. You might figure out that you really like making Android apps and or iOS apps. There's a lot of different avenues with this stuff. I think I'm gonna make a list of career paths that I know about. Just got to give you guys an idea. Remind me to do that. Somebody in the comments remind me to do that. Now I'll make sure I compile ones that I know at least. And this also goes back to that industry knowledge. Look around. Go to these different content creators. Go to these different websites, these news pages. See what people are doing. You'll find some really interesting, high-paying, high-paying career paths in the computer science that aren't vocalized like that. Most people think computer science, they think, oh, software developer, programmers, software engineer. It's not the end all be all. Tech is huge. There's information systems, information technology, is computer science. But since we're focused on computer science, there's already enough in there for you. And some of them don't even require a lot of coding. Just saying. All right, guys, that is 5 things I wish I knew before I started my degree. And I wish somebody would have told me that like I'm telling you right now. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I would have saved so much pain. But the point is, make sure you do your research. Go figure it out. You got this. Be confident. And let me know what questions you have about the computer science degree in the comments below. If you're a person who's already working in tech or wants to work in tech, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. I actually want to kind of get ideas off you guys, see what you want to see. What would you recommend for a video next? What questions do you have for me? Let me know in the comments below. But it's me, boy Marty, and remember, I just be coding.